Well, perfect. Well, Taylor, thanks so much for joining us. You're from Kualoa Ranch in Hawaii, which I feel like might be one of the most recognizable farms in history because of all the movies you guys are a part of. I mean, that's so cool. Do you guys probably get that a lot?
It's funny because when I first started working here, everybody, my contemporaries, my family, the community, I told them, hey, I'm going to start overseeing the agriculture and conservation management at Kualoa. And the most common answer was always like, I didn't know they did that there. I just know them from ATV rides and movies. And it was quickly became my sole objective to make sure that we became just as known for our farming and our ranching as we do for everything else. And I think we're getting there. We're getting pretty close. But you're right. It's very recognizable.
I feel like every movie that features like an island or a jungle, usually they film at Kualoa, and it's also not only like a great filming spot, but it's an active farm
Yeah.
that you don't really realize until you go and tour there. So, give us like a quick little background of like the whole farm, how it started on the farming side, and then maybe like a little bit onto how exactly all the movies and stuff started to get filmed there.
Sure. Well, the history is important because it's vast and it plays into kind of where we are today.
Hmm.
The property itself is just under 4,000 acres and has been in under the same ownership, same family ownership for over 170 years now. And
Oh wow!
so when you look at the history, it was primarily agriculture, ranching. They did sugar for a little while. And then in the 1980s, being that the state of Hawaii is as it became more and more of a tourist state, agriculture became less and less economically feasible, quite frankly. And so in
Mm.
the early 80s, my manager decided to branch out from not just doing ag and doing things like horseback rides and taking people more from a visitor standpoint through our agriculture, which is kind of important context because it's not as though we built a separate area. It's more how do you experience the land. And with that, we've always been popular with movies since the 50s and 60s,
Mm.
but it really took off in Jurassic Park, the whole Jurassic Park franchise.
Right.
And, from there, what's been nice is there's been this symbiosis between the agriculture growth and how we appear in Hollywood, because quite frankly, it's part of our kind of economic complement. And so
Hmm.
we're able to grow what we do from an agricultural standpoint, do a lot to the success of our visitor business model, which is directly related to the recognizability of Hollywood. It's kind of our sell in, if you will.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, we were mentioning earlier, my wife and I went there about 9 or 10 months ago. We did
Mhm.
the movie tour where you drive around the ranch, and it's an active ranch. I mean, there were cows walking in where they were saying movies were shot there,
Yeah.
whether it was like 51st Dates or Jurassic Park or King Kong. I mean, so what all goes into managing the farming side of it to making sure that, I don't know, when a movie visits, you're not going to disrupt the cows? Like, what's
Yeah.
that balancing act like?
It's much easier than people would think, and a lot
Okay.
of it has to do with the fact that when movies come in, they come and they scout and they kind of decide, okay, we want to go in this particular region, and we typically have a good amount of heads up prior to
Mm.
them starting, and because we recognize the complement between how we're able to run both businesses simultaneously. There are considerations that you might say you might move a herd a week early, or you might hold them back, or something like that. But in regards to any negative impacts, we don't see any. And so a lot of it really has to do with kind of knowing what's going to be necessary, and then knowing what's necessary on your animal side and holding them in the same regard, so that your decision making doesn't end up in a detriment to either side. I realize that's a very generalized statement, but that really is what it comes down to. Yeah, it's really interesting. And you mentioned the movie site tour, and it's kind of funny. You book that, and all you think of is Hollywood. And as you know, when you got on the bus, we trap you as a can't go anywhere type of audience, and then force agriculture down your throat for half the tour, which people don't expect coming into it. But oftentimes, that's the thing they speak the most fondly about when they leave. So it's a neat kind of theory, I guess, for
Oh,
ag.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
when we did the tour, I mean, I'd heard, it's an active ranch, so we saw some cows, but then we're going through, you get to see the crops, you get to see chickens and
Mhm.
goats and everything, all the chocolate. I mean, it's a very diverse operation. So like as the farm manager, like what's it like managing all the ranching side of it?
It is an incredible feat of balance.
Mm.
And what I
I can
mean by
imagine.
that is I mean, it's not a self-complimentary statement. What I mean by that is we have, over 60 different crops that we do. And kind of
Oh
you mentioned
wow.
the chocolate, and that ag center that you would have gone to in the movie sector is actually one of five that we have throughout the ranch geographically. From a ranching standpoint, we ranch, throughout the whole property. And then our ag centers are geographically separated due to whatever kind of resources are available and how we use them, whether it be, aquaculture ponds, farmland, water, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I think the biggest dynamic of managing that many crops really has been able to. We struggled a little bit in the beginning, and what has honestly helped me the most is we started reaching out to internships, and we started
Hmm.
bringing people in at the college level, at the high school level, and I started being able to hire kind of younger folks that may not have had the most experience or be kind of this high performance in a particular discipline, but they're so wide-eyed and ready and excited about what we do. They're able to kind of grow with the company, and they're able to kind of navigate this odd dynamic that, say, somebody who maybe had been ranching their whole lives would struggle with a little bit, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, what were I mean, chocolate I think is awesome, and I
Mm,
love just growing cacao. We actually did a tour, I think 3 years ago on the Big Island in Hawaii,
nice.
a place called Aloha, and so I know chocolate in Hawaii is really cool, like growing the
It is.
cacao. What are
Mm.
some other staple crops like taro root? Is that another big
Yep.
one?
So cacao is one of our main crops. We do a lot of orchard crops. So from an orchard standpoint, papaya, banana, breadfruit, which we call ulu, which is a very popular crop over here,
Okay.
as well as some of the more specialty crops from, say, Southeast Asia, like kind of those real wacky ones nobody ever heard of, but people always enjoy trying, like the rambutan, longan, star apple, champadek, things like that. But taro is a huge crop of ours for sure. But we're also very much into the protein. So we do aquaculture, we do oysters, Pacific white shrimp, we do sheep or lamb, grass-fed beef, and we also have a small house where we do deep litter system heritage breed pigs. So when you look at it from a standpoint of diversity, we've been able to actually, over the past few years, open up our own on-site market where we're able to, when you have that many products and you live in a food desert like we do, it was kind of an opportunity in the making. And so we've had some success with that lately. So it's been really good.
Hey everybody, welcome to our DC studio here with Farm Traveler. If you like this video, consider liking. If you want to comment on it, of course, commenting. That helps us out a ton. And if you want to see more content on Farm Traveler, how you can connect with farmers, more farm tours, stuff like that, and of course, clips from our podcast, hit subscribe. We just crossed over 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much. We have new content every week. And of course, our little shorts here, which are, like reels, but on YouTube. So thanks for watching. Check out more videos. We'll see you in the next one.